Phoenician was an ancient population of merchants based on trade with other populations in the Mediterranean area and Middle East. Their main economic system was based on export of raw materials. However, they also had to import goods from other civilizations. Although Phoenicians used to export any type of good, they were specialized on glass, purple pigment derived from death shells named porphyra, and copper. The name Phoenician comes from the Greek word phoenix, which means purple color. This evidence demonstrates how Phoenicians were attached to trade, especially purple. Moreover, Phoenicians exported glass all around the Mediterranean, and its manufacture was introduced by the Egyptians and improved by this amazing population. In addition, this population is famous for its abilities in navigation. Thanks to the characteristic of their ships, they could navigate in every condition. For instance, they used the polar star for night orientation. Thanks to their abilities and developed vessels, the Phoenicians reached France, Spain, Sicily, and beyond the Strait of Gibraltar. Merchant ship had a length between 20 and 30 meters, a width of 6 to 7 meters, a crew of 20 people, and a weight between 100 and 150 tons. Phoenicians did not have an actual army. However, in one occasion, this civilization deployed its army in order to conquer Cyprus. This island is rich of minerals, which were the favorite materials for Phoenicians. Meanwhile, many years later, Carthage, a Phoenician colony, will conquer Spain, Sicily, and Sardinia, and lately it will attack the Roman Empire. The battleship had a length between 35 and 40 meters, a width of 6 meters, rowers composed by 85 per side, and 50 soldiers.
Development of alphabet. As early as 3000 BCE, the Sumerians and the Egyptians has already invented writing systems based on symbols. The merchants and traders were using those to record contracts, receipts, and lists of goods. The Phoenicians were also used cuneiform. However, these ancient writing systems were too complicated to learn and took long times to write. The merchants and traders of Phoenicians hoped on ways that can provide them more efficient ways to notes. They noticed that all of those complex words were actually made of a few simple sounds. These sounds could be represented in only 22 symbols of their various combinations. Then, the Phoenicians developed a system of 22 consonants into the first alphabet without vowels. Through their vast trading network, the Phoenicians spread their alphabet out. The Greeks adopted it and added vowels by 8th century BCE. After that, the Romans also had common.
I don't know what you're saying.
That's that, Michelle. Purple dye symbolized royalty. The Phoenicians were likely the first people to develop a purple dye, which as a monopoly and sold it to the wealthy at exorbitant prices. Since only high-ranking nobles or Since only high-ranking nobles or government officials could afford this kind of garments, the purple dye was symbolized as the royalty, which the connotation still survives into today. Purple dye. Development of navigation techniques. The Phoenicians were experts of sailing. They discovered the method of using the North Star to determine direction. Later on, they could sail on the open seas and in the ocean, rather than ships along the coastline. Phoenician sailors passed the important information to the Greeks and other Mediterranean cultures, and influenced the discovery of America, as well as the world trip in the future. Improves the skill of glassmaking. The Phoenicians did not invent glass. However, the Phoenician glassmakers is credited with the inventing of free blowing techniques sometime around 50 BCE. As a result, artisans could create wider range of glass items. Craftspeople could make much more transparent glassware than the previous version. It influences the people to development of glass systems nowadays. Social structures and classes. Kings were the ruler of the entire kingdom, but not considered as part of the social hierarchy. People believed that kings were divine agents in the Phoenicia. All the land, people, and assets of the kingdom would all belong to king. He also he is also responsible for appointing elite officers at various social institutions for supervision of work. Leaders of the army and ar- army, the commander of the army. Social class. Comprised by most elite people in society, it included government officials, landowners, and priests. Since king ruled the main Phoenician city but not as part of the hierarchy, the social class was utmost important and held the major powers and aristocracy of the society. Middle class included people like farmers, fishermen, craftsmen, and merchants. All of them enjoyed certain privileges and possessed certain rights to social class. They were considered as the important sections of society since they had the responsibility to fulfill other the civilians' daily essentials, such as food and material goods. Since trading was popular at the time, the merchants would exchange things from the strangers during the trade and bartered. It brought back surpluses to the kingdom. Therefore, they were played a role of running the economy of the kingdom. Working class. Working class were the lowest level of citizens, such as servants and slaves. They were responsible for serving the richest as slaves. Even though they had least of the rights in society, the laws and regulations of society protected them on some extent, to some extent. They had right to speak for themselves when the uppermost class was harsh and treated them badly. Moreover, they had the right to earn money as well as use the money to pay their freedom. The triangle.
Phoenicia was separated into independent states or cities, with each own king to control the city. Some of the major cities were Tyre, Sidon, Byblos, Ord, and Sarepta. Kingship was the oldest form of leadership in Phoenicia. The royal house was divine, and a new member couldn't be chosen from outside families. The king's power was limited by other powerful merchant families who had big influence in public affairs. The king was also associated with a council of elders who helped the government and gave advices. Around 600 BC, a republic took place at Tyre. This republic was controlled by a group of Sapphists, or judges. Much later, this became a known type of government which the Carthaginian state mastered. And there also created a federal bond between Tyre, Sidon, and Aradus, but a larger federation weren't possible in Phoenicia because there are no sense of a larger political existence connecting the different states. The Israelite king Omri had allied himself with the Phoenician cities of the coast. There are no record of Phoenician laws.
Art and architecture. A record shows that Phoenicians were famous for their crafts and artwork in metal, ivory, glass, and terracotta, wood, and stone. In addition, they were also famous in weaving and dyeing purple wool and fabrics. Although the Phoenician art served many purposes, such as religion, trade, or others, it was meant to be appeal to the eyes and communicate ideas. Ivory. Ivory was known as precious commodity. It was found in palaces such as tombs and as sacrifice in temples. Ivory was made into many different items, such as boxes, handles for fans, or fly wishes. Paint, gold leaves, inlaid stones made the Phoenician ivories a lot more colorful. During that time, ivory was better known than metal objects such as silver. Terracotta masks were used for celebration, and it shows happiness. State religion. Phoenician religion was inspired by the powers and process of nature. They worship worshipped so many gods, however, were known in their local names. Adon and some young god, Anna, goddess of love and war, Astarte, queen of heaven, Baal El, ruler of the universe, Baal Hammon, god of fertility and renewer, Melkart, king of the underworld.
The Phoenicians were fascinated to academics and lovers of history. Moreover, the Phoenicians were great in the communication with people. Therefore, a lot of businessmen were dealing with the and export market. Big steps were made with the development of important materials such as glass. Phoenicia had huge forests with great wood resources and a good landscape for the ability to earn, for example, wheat. The resources were used to sell and to use it for themselves to build ships and houses. The big resources had a huge influence of the dealing with other civilizations to earn and to get other resources, which didn't exist in Phoenicia. Later on, the strong humidity and the coastal climate changed everything, and the work of 1,000 years seems to be over. The inscription of papyrus, wood, and clay tables disappeared quickly, and even the stone inscriptions were being exposed to the wind, rain, or frost.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.